Let me kind of back up a little bit, make sure you guys understand why we need KYC. So Pi is a very unique crypto in the sense that it's being mined or like carved out. You're carving out your Pi currently by logging into an app. So the natural thought that anyone would have on this is, well, why don't I just, go and get a bunch of phones and do exactly that? Like, what's stopping me from being one of those people where I'm just going to go and get 20 phones and mine a whole bunch of them, right? Well, that's exactly the problem with Pi. It's not fair for everybody. And so the KYC process is what is going to limit one device to one physical person, and that's it. It makes Pi fair for everybody. But in order to do that, we have to know that you are you, that you're a real person, and we have to know that you are not gaming the system, and the device that you're authorizing belongs to you, and it's a one-to-one relationship. So that's what KYC is doing. So here's the way that you're going to do this. I'm going to show this to you on my phone. We're just going to go through this together. So right here, I have the Pi browser open. You're going to need to install the Pi browser. Now, be very careful and make sure that you're installing the actual and correct Pi browser. There have been fraudulent ones that have come out, and so you need to make sure it's the actual one. It should be coming from the Pi core team itself. So check the reviews, check the ratings, make sure that it's actually authorized by Pi. I'm not going to guide you in that because you just need to make sure you do that on your own, and I don't want any liability for steering someone wrong. Just know you need to install the correct one. So I've got it open. I actually have it authorized. I have my wallet set up. If you can already do that, that's been possible for quite some time. But here's where you go through the KYC process, and I'm going to show this to you. At least for me here in the States, it's not going to fully work yet. So I'm going to hit KYC. And then what's going to happen is it's going to give me in a minute there that little purple wheel, and so it's thinking, right? And so it pretty much immediately comes up with this error right here, right? Sorry, we've reached the current participation limit. If you've already submitted your KYC, which I haven't, then please wait. So in other words, you're just going to have to wait. You're going to get this error or this message of see you soon. You're going to have to wait. So it's sort of like this hurry up and wait. Now that KYC is out and through mass approval, don't forget, the core team still has to go through, and all of like the verified pioneers that are going through this process are going to have to go through millions and millions of KYC processes. This is going to take time. And because this is a distributed process, where just regular KYC, I'm sorry, well, yes, they've been KYC, but just regular pioneers who've been through KYC themselves who are signing up to do this, it's going to take time. It's not going to be fast. It's not like we're outsourcing this to a company that this is all they do. In fact, the Pi network is, to my knowledge, the only major real cryptocurrency platform that's out there that's even created a decentralized KYC process. Like, to me, that's mind-blowing, right? That they've actually solved this because of the millions of iterations it's going to take to get everyone through KYC. So you're just going to have to be patient. I'm going to be patient. You're going to have to be patient. And here's the thing. If you've been doing Pi for quite some time, you're used to being patient. If there's one critique in Pi, it's simply this: nothing's happening. You know the meme where he's like, the guy, the stick man is poking his stick at like Bitcoin's icon, and he's like, come on, move. It's like the same thing with Pi. Come on, move. It's going to take some time. The core team is pretty small. They're self-funded, and it's not going to happen overnight. So it's great that KYC has been mass released, but it could take days, who knows, weeks. I'm not sure how long until the KYC process goes through. I would love to see metrics from the core team as soon as possible, them showing on Twitter or any of their verified places where they're showing how many people have completed KYC, maybe even a breakdown per country and how many are remaining. I think that would be a very positive thing to do so that we can all see what's happening in and around this process. So keep in mind it's going to take some time. Now, how does the KYC process look? Today's video, just know it's a pretty good process that's been created, and it's amazing because, again, it's the one I know of. It's the only one I know of that it's a decentralized KYC process, which is pretty incredible. So there you have it. The KYC is out there. It's gold in the sense of it's now released to everybody. We're just going to have to wait. I couldn't say how long it's going to take, and I know many of you might be frustrated by this of like, well, then how is this news if I can't even log in? And I can log in, but I can't get through the KYC process, as you can see right here. How is this news? Well, it is news because we now have heard from the core team that it is finally out. It's just gonna take some time. You're just going to have to be patient. And remember, you've been patient for weeks, if not years, so you can be patient a little bit longer till this comes out. Now, one other final question about KYC that I wanted to answer that I've heard some of you ask is, how can we speed this process up? If there's millions of people and I've got to wait for some amount of time, how do I get this to go through quicker? Well, the core team produced a video and they covered a little bit about this. You can watch it on the Pi application or YouTube or any of their other authorized sources. And one of the things that Nicholas talks about is this right here. He says it's almost like viral in nature. So the ability to scale up more and more KYC is dependent upon how many validators there are. Did you know you can become a KYC validator? So you can apply to this process. The first thing that has to happen is you yourself have to go through KYC. But once you've gone through KYC, you can apply to be a validator. And if you're accepted, then that's just one more person to handle validations. Now, why would you want to do validations? Well, I guess there's always the intrinsic, altruistic reasons of I'm helping the Pi network. But for many of you, it's this. You're going to be able to earn Pi by doing KYC approvals. And I don't know exactly how much it's going to be. I'm not sure if they've published that. I think what will happen as more and more KYC validators sign up and get approved, we're going to see the speed of KYC transactions themselves hopefully increase, maybe even exponentially. And the core team talked about that. Nicholas talked about that in today's video, is they could approve a whole bunch more of us. So instead of me seeing this see you soon, I could go through and I could pop in all my KYC data now, but then I just have to wait. And so their view of it, and I actually think this is the right one, is let's hold people like me and probably like you until we get more validators. When more validators come through, then we will be able to open up more and more people into KYC. And again, the more validators, the higher the speed of transactions, the higher number of them, and the faster we get through this process. So you might want to consider becoming and applying for a KYC validator just to move the whole process through forward and much, much faster. So what happens after Pi, once you get through KYC? What happens in the Pi roadmap after that? Well, in the next video that I produce, I'm going to share that. I'm going to share what's